It's great to have you with us. This is the Saints and Savages podcast, and we have another great show for you today. And as always, we're bringing receipts. My name is Brian, and with me in studio, as usual, Mike, Lord Norris, and Blake, the Mad Professor. But first, if you like the show, if you like what you see, if you like what you hear, go ahead and hit the like button. Share the video, share the show with a friend, share us with a couple friends if you're in that kind of thing. I know we are. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, Saints and Savages, welcome to the show. All right, Mike.
Welcome back, everybody. It's good to be back. I feel like we've been gone for like a month, man.
It's always that way.
I feel like we've been on vacation or had a midlife crisis, and now we're back. So we're back. All right.
Yeah, you are officially here.
And we got a lot of shiz to talk about.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of stuff.
How's everybody doing overall?
Yeah. What's going on, Blake?
Oh, man. Talking about time, we bought a house back mid-March, and when we were asking, how long have you been in a house? I'm like, I almost said like 6 months, it feels like. It's been a month and a half.
Has it really only been a month?
Month and a half.
Wow.
It's crazy.
Time flies, man.
You got two doggos. How they liking it?
The two dogs love the house. They wrestle and play in the basement all the time, and I wrestle them, so it's great.
Cool.
So just keep that in mind. Don't pick a fight with Blake. These dogs are huge.
You will get bit in the ass. Both cheeks. Cool. Well, yeah, I mean, as always, it's great to have everybody back, and let's jump into this. I think we have a cool little quiz again to start us out. I think Mr. Brian found this out for us, and it's on BuzzFeed as well.
Yep.
And
Only thing good about BuzzFeed is the quizzes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes. Disclaimer. Yeah, this quiz is called The Only True Film Nerds Will Be Able to Match These Quotes to the Correct Movies.
Oh, sweet.
Right? Okay?
All right, let's do it.
All right. So
Who's the biggest cinephile among us?
the first one is roads. Where we're going, we don't need roads. Is it Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure? Is it Back to the Future? Is it The Empire Strikes Back? Or is it Men in Black? Mike?
Back to the Future.
Blake?
Doc Brown, end of episode of the first Back to the Future movie.
Ding, ding, ding. Correct. All right. Next one. Life moves pretty fast. If you don't stop and look around once in a while, you could miss it. Mike? Is it Ferris Bueller's Day Off? Is it Footloose? Is it The Breakfast Club? Or is it 16 Candles?
Oh, man. I'm going to go with The Breakfast Club. I'm not entirely sure.
Blake?
Ferris Bueller's Day Off in the opening monologue.
It is Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
There you go.
Next one. Stop trying to make fetch happen. Is it Miss Congeniality, 13 going on 30, Mean Girls, Legally Blonde? Mike?
Well, fetch. I think it's Mean Girls.
Blake?
You're fetching right.
And it is Mean Girls. Woo. All right, so this one's going to go to Blake. There's no place like home. Is it Hook, The Princess Bride, Finding Nemo, or The Wizard of Oz? Blake?
Wizard of Oz.
Mike?
Wizard of Oz.
Ding, ding, ding. Yes. Correct.
Everyone should get that one right.
All right, next one.
I wasn't too sure. It's been so long since I've seen that. I was just like, whatever Blake says. We'll be wrong together.
And then Blake should have been like, let me change my answer real quick.
Me too.
I almost said Hook just to be funny, but
all right. We should do like find a quiz like wrong answers only. All right. The next one.
Let's go.
I can do this all day. Fight Club, The Dark Knight, Captain America, The First Avenger, or Black Panther.
Captain America, The First Avenger.
I know. Captain America, First Avenger.
Gentlemen, you are correct. Captain America, The First Avenger. All right, next one. You see us as a brain, an athlete, a basketball case, a princess, and a criminal, correct? Is this from The Goonies, The Breakfast Club, The Karate Kid, or Clueless? Mike?
Oh, man, I have no idea. I'm going to say Breakfast Club.
Would you say you're clueless about this?
I am, yes. Yes, Breakfast
Pun
Club.
intended.
Oh.
Blake?
It's a Breakfast Club. It's the last line from the letter the nerd writes.
It is.
Yes.
Correct.
Right before the great song comes on.
Oh, yeah. Oh, what's the name of that?
What is the name of that song? I'm
What's the name
terrible
of the
with music.
I have no idea.
I think it's Tears for Fears.
Is it Tears for Fears?
Okay, we'll go with that.
Yeah. Anyway,
Maybe.
all right. This next, I know all these people are going to comment. The next one, he can't see without his glasses. Is it from The Sandlot, My Girl, It, or Stand By Me? He can't see without his glasses.
Oh, all right. Okay.
Again, The Sandlot, My Girl,
I'm gonna say
It,
The
or
Sandlot.
Stand By Me.
I'm going to say The Sandlot.
You were really lucky. You're just guessing?
Yeah, I'm just guessing.
I think
The
he's
Sandlot,
he's
right
only gotten one wrong so far.
Right before he jumps in the swimming pool.
Gentlemen, the correct answer is My Girl.
All right.
What?
My Girl.
Really?
I don't even remember that movie. So
yep.
Oh, man.
All right, next one. My mama always said life was like a box of chocolates. Now, if you get this wrong, you get to punch yourself in the ding ding.
Yep.
Is it Forrest Gump? Is it Steel Magnolias? My Cousin Vinny or The Notebook?
Forrest Gump. Let's be real.
Blake, you want to go ahead and try to get it wrong?
Well, it'd be easy to get it wrong. But how would you be funny? No, Forrest Gump. The other ones aren't even funny if you get it.
Go ahead. Make my day. Magnum Force, The Enforcer, Sudden Impact, or Dirty Harry?
Magnum Force.
Dirty Harry.
Is it Dirty Harry?
You're both wrong. It's Sudden Impact.
Oh, gosh.
Really?
Yeah, Sudden Impact.
Interesting.
What is
I haven't seen Sudden Impact in.
Charleston?
And I actually
Jackie.
think the quote is wrong too. I don't actually think it's
Like-
that correctly. It's like, it has something about it. He's like, did he shoot one shot or did he shoot, three?
Yeah.
It's like there's a little bit more to it. It's one of those ones that's like misquoted, but they always quote it as this.
Oh, I see.
Okay. Cool.
Anyway, next one.
Whoops.
Yep.
Okay,
Suck it up.
I've
Suck it
got
up.
2 wrong so far.
Yep. How many you missed so far?
I think like 2.
2. All right, next one. Come out to the coast. We'll get together. Have a few laughs. Forgetting Sarah Marshall. Point Break. Weekend at Bernie's. Die Hard.
Shoot. It's definitely not Die Hard. Wait. Nope. I think it is Die Hard.
I'm going to say Point Break.
The correct answer is for a box of Wyoming fresh air. Die Hard.
Sweet.
Oh, you got to be kidding me.
Yeah, that's when he's talking to himself in the vents. He's like, how did I get in a bunch of building with terrorists?
All right, the next one. The flower that blooms in adversity is the most rare and beautiful of all. Is it Mulan, Shang-Chi and the Legend of the
10 Rings.
10 Rings, Encanto, Mona?
Moana.
Yeah, clearly I don't know.
That's a sex-rated version of
Yeah,
that.
That's
Moana.
porn parody.
Oh, gosh. The flower that blooms in adversity is the most rare. Who the frick knows? I'm going to go with... Encanto. I'm going with
You
Encanto.
know Encanto?
Yeah.
Mulan.
The correct answer is Mulan.
Oh, there you go. F this.
Come with me if you want to live. Is that from A Nightmare on Elm Street, Christine, The Terminator, or Beetlejuice?
Nightmare on Elm. No, I'm kidding. It's Terminator.
Terminator.
Not only is it in
That's
that
correct.
Terminator,
Terminator.
it's on every Terminator.
It's terrible. It gets worse every time. It's like, dude, stop.
The second one was good.
Yeah, I like the second one.
Yeah.
All right, next one. Nobody puts baby in the corner. Is it Dirty Dancing, Flashdance, Grease, or Hairspray?
Oh, come on, Mike.
I'm sorry, man. This is not my thing. I'm gonna go with.
I would not guess that it would be his thing.
This is classic.
This is gay.
No, it's not.
I'm gonna go with Grease. I don't know.
Okay, he's
Dirty
gonna go Grease.
Dancing. This is a great movie.
Mike, you are 100% wrong. It is Dirty Dancing.
I pride myself in this.
Yes.
As every man should.
Mr. Ron Swanson agrees.
This is one of the most classic lines from.
I wish we had a
80s
close-up
movies.
shot of it on, just like zooms in.
All right, next one. I'm going to make him an offer he can't refuse. Goodfellas, The Godfather, Sacrifice, or Casino?
You mean Scarface?
Scarface.
Sacrifice.
You read that too fast.
Okay, I'm going to make him an offer he can't refuse. Goodfellas, The Godfather, Scarface, Casino.
Oh, God.
I'm gonna go with Casino.
I'm pretty sure they say this on Godfather and is referenced in Goodfellas, but I'm going to go with Godfather.
What did you say, Mike?
I'm gonna say Casino.
You're wrong. It's Godfather.
I wish they would do the leave the gun, take the cannoli line. That's my favorite. from
Admission.
Godfather.
I've never watched The Godfather.
Really?
Goodness.
Well, I mean, it's the only one you need to watch is the first one. The other
The
ones are
first one?
garbage.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
You have to see the whole trilogy just
No,
so
you
you know
do
the
not.
storyline.
No, not at all.
Well,
Not
All
at
right,
all.
let's keep going.
I disagree. All right, next one. Carpe diem. Seize the day, boys. Make your lives extraordinary. Is this from Braveheart, Gladiator, Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, or Dead Poet Society?
Wait, what?
That's got to be Dead Poet Society because the other ones.
Carpe diem. Seize the day, boys. Make your lives extraordinary.
Yeah, Dead Poet Society.
Braveheart, Gladiator, Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, or Dead Poet Society?
Dead Poet Society.
The correct answer is Dead Poet Society. Absolutely.
Can you imagine Russell Crowe saying that in Ring Gladiator?
Seize the day, boys.
Awesome. That's an awesome movie.
That is great.
All right, next one. Snakes. Why did it have to be snakes? Raiders of the Lost Ark, Romancing the Stone, Snakes on the Plane, Anaconda.
Raiders of the Lost Ark.
If you get this wrong, I'm going to punch you both in the face.
Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yes, correct. Raiders of the Lost Ark.
No.
You know, somebody would have said Snakes on a Plane.
Yeah.
But there's no MFer in there, so.
Yes. That quote is, tired of these mother effing snakes on mother effing plane.
There's actually a real like snake got loose on a plane somewhere.
Oh yeah, I
Did you
saw
see
that. Yeah. and then Snakes on a Plane 2 came out.
Now we just the Sharknado.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, did you guys see that volcano that just happened? So there's a volcano that erupted in the sea somewhere, and it's like one of the breeding grounds for like these mutant like sharks that live close to like lava vents.
Really?
So it's like real world Sharknado kind of thing.
All right, next one. I'm the King of the World. Enchanted. Top Gun. Brokeback Mountain. Titanic. If you don't say Brokeback Mountain, I'm gonna.
I was gonna say Brokeback.
Titanic.
Unfortunately, yes.
But Brokeback Mountain would be a lot funnier.
That would be.
All right,
I'm
that's
the
it for the
king of this
quiz. Yeah, that's all we got for the quiz, gentlemen.
Cool.
So you guys did terrible. Great job.
I take pride in
proud of
that.
you. I'm proud of
myself. I take excellent pride, especially some of these ones because they are,
No, some of these are classics.
as we would
There
call.
were. I would actually probably do this quiz on my own and do some better ones. But those are pretty decent.
Yeah, they're decent.
Yeah.
I mean, some of those are not nerdy movies though.
Yeah, you could do a bit more esoteric ones than those.
Yeah, I mean, some of these are not nerdy movies.
So there's a few things we can cover. We also have some videos that we can kind of watch and kind of give our reactions to. Do we want to go to the articles first, or we want to do the short vids first? It's up to you. Dealer's choice, Mike. You're in control here.
I am in control.
Should we roll a dice?
Rolled a 1. You pissed your pants.
I will roll and hit a crit, and we are gonna do. Let's watch the videos first. Let's do that.
All right.
All right. So what's the first one, Brian, that we got here?
Let's go to the Blaze. Whoopi Goldberg.
The Whoopies. Man, sorry. Let me say that again.
But it's like Whoopi. It's like
Sorry, every time you say that name. Oh gosh.
Whoopi. Joy Reid.
Nah, it's okay. Sorry, I tried so hard.
Kamala Harris.
Strip in my mouth. Oh gosh. All right, let's keep going. So what's this first one? We got it from the Blaze, right?
Yeah, it's from. I think it's actually from PJ Media. The Blaze has it on here, but yeah, Whoopi Goldberg giving some sound sage theocratic advice.
Oh, so she's a theocrat now.
Well, let's watch the video. You
Yeah.
take it for
Yeah, let me read a little bit here first. We got the title here. The views Whoopi Goldberg, last San Francisco's bishop,
otherwise known as Guinan.
for denying communion to Pelosi. Oh gosh, this is not your job, dude.
Just play the video.
It's literally
Trust
quote.
me.
So here we go, guys. Give us a sec while we make sure we got the audio for this.
Welcome to The View, y'all. The abortion rights battle is starting to blur the lines between church and state. The Archbishop of San Francisco is calling for Speaker Nancy Pelosi to be denied receiving communion because of her pro-choice stance. He's one of the priests who also called for President Biden to be denied sacrament. This is not your job, dude.
Go ahead and pause it right there. Go to pause it right there.
Let's just put a. Everybody, please just send out a quick prayer for this woman, man, whatever she is.
So clearly she does not understand religion. It doesn't matter whether you're Catholic or not. For us, for instance, right? I grew up Catholic, so I know exactly what it is.
I know what it is. Yeah, I grew up Catholic
right.
too.
I mean, you're Latino. Dude.
Yeah,
Better. Well, no, I'm sorry. I'm correct. Latinx.
Oh, wow.
But, for our church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, we do the sacrament, correct? All right. So if you happen to be in the path of sinning, for instance, right? You've done something, could be egregious, whatever it may be. What would be the correct path to take the sacrament or to not take the sacrament?
Well, to be able to take the sacrament again, you need to repent.
So what is the sacrament?
It represents the body of Christ.
Okay. So the blood and the body of Christ, right? And why do we do it?
Otherwise known as, what is it, the Eucharist?
Yep. Yeah, so why do we do it, Blake?
Well, it's to renew our covenants with God and remember his suffering and what he's done for us, and to basically be re-cleansed of our sins, right?
Okay.
So you repent, which in sign language, when you want to use the word for change, you make a C and you go like this, or you reverse directions. The sign for repentance is you make R and you reverse directions, because repentance is a change. It's a turning away from something. So once you've turned away your heart from something, then you're ready to recommit to God a life devoted to him. So then you take the sacrament, which is also called the sacrament of the Last Supper of the Holy Lord. But we keep it short, which is similar to the communion that they take in Catholics.
Yeah. So I, being formerly Catholic, in I don't know.
The Great Lutings.
Yeah.
Oh, that should have been my Twitter handle. The Great Lutings.
Your family? Any Catholics in your
Oh,
family?
yeah. My family's still Catholic.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So you're well aware of this, right?
Yes.
So if to kind of get a little, I know we went a little deep on that, but it's like, yeah, you're exactly right, Blake. Yes. And if you are one who is sinning or doing incorrect things or leading people to sin, right? Then if someone is in a position of leadership in the church and they recognize that you are doing these things, do they have the authority to prevent you from taking sacrament?
Yes. Like,
Yes.
Okay.
full stop.
So this person, right, who Whoopi is talking about, this archdiocese, is in authority.
Yeah, and he's not just like a parish priest. This dude is like over the entire parishes and whatever, I forgot what you call it, like all the parishes that are in the San Francisco community and area.
Yep.
He's in charge of the whole smack, right? And so he ministers to probably like more important, people in social standings and things like that, as the higher people in the Catholic Church always do. And so when he comes out and says, "Hey, you're doing bad stuff, hence you will not be receiving communion," that's a big deal, because usually the Catholic Church really tiptoes around these things and tries to I wouldn't say like save face, but just kind of like stay separate from the political argument of the day, right? And them taking sides against, saying like, hey, you can't take communion to a certain political figure, which is very prominent in our country, then it's a big deal.
Well, also, it's like, what legitimacy do you have as a religion if you are not taking corrective actions for people who practice the religion who are doing wrong? Yep. What authority do you have? What leg do you have to stand on? Right. I mean, in our church specifically, we had somebody that was in the 70s who got excommunicated. Right. And somebody could have been like, "Oh, look at this person. They did it wrong." No, the church handled the business. They took action. The person was excommunicated for what they did, as should have been done, as happens.
And for reference, the 70s is just a number of priesthood holders who take care of church affairs and things like that.
Yeah, it's a high governing body.
Yeah,
we don't have any paid clergy in the LDS Church.
Yeah.
So this is a high governing body who are usually filled with people who are retired or working part-time jobs to make enough time to run the affairs of the church.
Yeah.
Anyways, but the church, from my perspective, the church should never be political.
No.
Regardless if you're Muslim, regardless if you're Jewish, regardless if you're Christian. None of these churches should be political. Every single one of them should hold all of their members to standard. If you do not meet those standards, you're going to face the consequences, regardless of what your political leadership position may be, whether you're the president of the United States, whether you're the owner of a business. It doesn't matter.
Right. And along this Archduke's responsibilities,
Archbishop.
excuse me, I'm not
That's
Catholic.
That's a dope title.
Archbishop, excuse me, I'm sorry. Part of, as you said, he has authority. He's a shepherd over his flock, he doesn't want people to make a commitment that they're not ready for. Taking the sacrament is a commitment. You have to make sure you're in the right spiritual space to do that. If you don't take the sacrament with a worthy heart, you drink damnation to your soul. So it's good to be in that headspace. So the Catholic has a very defined thing about abortion. This is a sacred life. You don't participate in it. You don't support it. And both Pelosi and Biden have voice support of it, which goes against the Catholic Church teachings. But the Catholic Church is big, and there are many leaders. I mean, does the Pope? I know he's had different leanings lately.
Yeah, so the Pope nowadays, I think he's very political, and he's the newest Pope. He's definitely come out as I think pretty liberal, man. Yeah. I mean, he's I know they've talked about gay marriage and homosexuality and stuff, and they're like starting to become pro for it, And I'm not saying it's necessarily like it's a bad thing, right? But like if your church tenets say that this is incorrect way of living according to God's mandate, and you're pushing something else, and you're the head of the church, the Roman Catholic Church, then I mean I'm sorry, but there's a disconnect here. Like either you're lying or you don't believe in what you're preaching, right? So what is it? Yep. And I know there's like very, very devout Catholics and stuff that, still support them. And, again, we preach in our faith, being Christians that, you have agency. Go ahead and choose believe what you want to believe, do what you want to do. But at the end of the day, you're in charge and responsible for your actions. And that includes like the Pope, right? Him leading his people astray, if that is what he's doing, quote, quote. So you guys want to keep watching this? Here we go.
There's a little bit more. You're going to throw up a little bit.
Now, you can't, that is not up to you to make that decision. What is the saying? It's kind of amazing. But
it's amazing somebody named you Whoopi.
What is the point of communion, right? It's for sinners. It's for sinners. It's the reward of saints, but the bread of sinners. How dare you?
How dare you? How dare you?
If Pope Francis says that that's the issue, but
oh my gosh!
Own issue.
I don't.
Hey, it's stopping it for you.
Yeah, thank goodness that's divine intervention. Because holy shit.
It's for.
I mean, anything that comes out of this woman's mouth after that, like.
Well, see, and here's the thing, though, too, right?
I'm at a loss for words.
We've seen this, and I look. I have Catholic family members, and I know that probably some of them are going to get angry at me for saying this. But hey, you know what? It is what it is. You have open disagreements with cardinals and bishops and the Pope. It's happened, and it continues to happen. I mean, the Archdiocese, I think, here in D.C. still allows Pelosi and Biden to take communion.
So I think what happened was he actually denied it to them for a while, and then the Pope or somebody higher, probably a cardinal, came in and was like, let's not do this and give him back communion, right? Like, we can't piss off the President of the United States, blah, blah, Speaker of the House, until I guess they started up again. I think the article was like really swept up in the rug, or the news about it, but again, it's all just politicized again.
Exactly.
I mean, like they're not living what they preach, and that's the issue.
Well, let's say, for instance, let's just say things had changed and Mitt Romney had become president of the United States, right? Him being a member of our church. If he were out there promoting and pushing for abortion, what would happen in our church?
They would probably do the same thing. They would probably suspend him having the sacrament. I don't.
Yeah, and they would probably like talk to him about it, and be like, hey, like you're preaching these things. Yep. It goes against what our faith believes in and what you've, covenanted to uphold. And so if he kept on doing it, eventually he would become excommunicated because of that.
So what happened?
And it's nothing personal. It's just, again, you're responsible for your actions and what you say, right? It is what it is.
Yep. So anyway, but yeah, we can go to let's go to
typhoid.
The next. Oh yeah, this is awesome. So this is from Glenn Greenwald.
Oh, I haven't seen this.
So this is what is her name? You can pull up the video; it's on YouTube. But the
Nicole Wallace.
Yeah, so she used to be part of the Bush administration.
Oh, really?
She's one of those. Yeah, she's one of those. I was Republican, but now I've seen the light, and now I'm a Democrat.
Right.
And now she's on MSNBC making millions of dollars because she bashes the right because she was of the right. She's also one of the absolute purveyors of disinformation, malinformation.
Oh man.
Yeah, she's amazing. But go ahead and play the video. It's awesome.
All right, here we go.
100% pants on fire.
The Havana syndrome. Headaches and a loud noise. Clearly acts of aggression, acts of war.
Scientists say the sounds were crickets.
Havana syndrome. Our enemies might be weaponizing technology, beaming something to hurt people's brains.
The claims are scientifically implausible.
Donald Trump to now investigate a conspiracy theory about COVID coming from a lab in Wuhan.
This theory needs to be investigated, which is what President Biden is doing.
Hunter Biden's laptop reveals emails.
We shouldn't look at it as anything other than a Russian disinformation operation.
The Hunter Biden laptop material is genuine.
The murder of
Yeah,
a
so,
police
pause
officer,
it.
Officer Brian Sicknick, was killed.
Yeah, the Hunter Biden thing, right? That was completely poo-pooed, right? The media completely went after it. Twitter would suspend you. Instagram would shut you down. Facebook was shutting you down. All of these social media platforms were shutting down freedom of speech when they were talking about this laptop, right? And now you actually had, they said, was it 16% of Biden voters said that they would change their vote if they would have known about the laptop?
I think it was like 20%, something like
Whatever.
that.
That would change the election.
Yeah.
But because they poo-pooed this and they're like, oh, it's Russian disinformation, you actually had members of the government in pretty critical areas that were also going along with this and saying that this is not true. And you had, I think it was Joe Rogan coming out saying, are you guys going to apologize for this?
Yeah, it was like a list of like 40-something or 60-something intelligence officials that they all signed a letter saying like this is Russian disinformation from what we can believe. Until this day, not a single one of them has apologized for.
Nor will they.
Nor will they. Yeah, though. I mean, everybody knows by now that this was just a political hit job. Propaganda and sweeping it under the rug.
Yeah, and I mean, even more so, you can go into Red-Handed, Peter Schweizer's book, where he talks about how China has influenced the Biden family. Yeah, and a lot of it has been targeted through Hunter Biden. You look at Burisma, right? Why was, they always talk about the whole thing with Trump investigating Ukraine, right? Why was he investigating Ukraine?
Oh, he was investigating crimes by what was the CEO of Burisma, something
He's an oligarch.
Sketsky or something like that.
Yeah, he's an oligarch.
Yep.
Paying Hunter Biden, who knew absolutely zero information about energy, paying him like what is it, like $50,000 a month or something like that, or $500,000? It's some insane amount of money.
Yeah.
I think it was like $2 million a year.
Yeah, pennies to them, but to the average person, it's a lot of money.
Yeah, to sit on a board of an energy company, and you absolutely, I mean, the guy's selling, Hunter Biden's out here selling his finger paintings for like $500,000. Dude. I mean, that's just how corrupt this guy is.
I mean, the conspiracy theories are about that. They're selling that for to launder
well,
the money and stuff like that.
No, and they actually have proof that he knew the mayor's wife of Moscow. He was getting money from her, right? They're paying Biden. And then they also have all of these emails that they're able to collect, right? The big guy.
Yeah, well, I mean, and you also have Biden on film in front of a large audience saying that they withheld $1 billion, which is funny with what they were trying to impeach Trump for.
Yeah, when he was vice president.
Exactly. That they withheld $1 billion from the Ukrainian government, which right now we're sending billions of dollars to, quote, quote.
Yeah.
And they withheld that until the prosecutor who was prosecuting the CEO of this company for multiple crimes, until he was fired, and they put in somebody solid, as he said. And what happened? Well, the president he's like, I'm leaving in 6 hours. You got till then to do this.
Yep.
And guess what happened? It happened. And he's like, and you know what? They put somebody in solid.
Yep.
And then what happens after that? That CEO who fled to Malta ended up coming right back. And then when Trump takes office, he starts investigating and he flees again. Right. So, I mean, just the corruption that's going on is on a scale that, people can't even fathom at a certain point.
All this stuff is 100% factual.
It is 100%. You can go ahead and fact check this as much as you want. I mean, there was this hilarious episode on the Timcast IRL show where Tim Pool had Hunter Avalon, who used to be a conservative, a YouTuber, but then ended up coming out and saying that, hey, I'm going to actually be switching to be a Democrat because my views have changed, whatever. And he went on the show and he talked about this exact thing. And Hunter said, hey, I got to stop you there. This is complete disinformation. This is not true. And they're like, do you even know what's going on? Like, what, there's the video of Biden saying this and they played it for him. He's like, well, I have to check this myself.
Taking
Like, no,
out
the
of
video's
context.
right there. Like, they played it for him.
Yeah.
And Tim's like, you are out of your depth, bro. Because but this is exactly what happens, right? They listen to CNN, they listen to MSNBC touting a certain view of an angle of a story, and they're like, and they just run with it. They don't even fact check their own side. Yep. And then they go on a big show like Tim's, like the Timcast IRL show, and then, they completely look like idiots.
Yeah, and for 4 years they spread complete disinformation about Trump and the Russian collusion with not a shred of evidence, which has been disproven. What was it called? Who was that guy? Dossier. Yeah. And right now they're still going to court. They have special counsel. What's his name?
Mueller.
Yeah, he's
what's going on?
He's killing him.
Have you guys been following the story? What's been coming out about that, about Hillary and her campaign manager who just testified in court under oath that she herself personally approved the disseminating of that story as Russian disinformation to the public.
Steele dossier.
Yeah. She's the one he was like, she personally authorized and told us to do this.
Oh, yeah, they have all the documents showing all the payments and all that stuff. Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, they got them dead to rights.
Yeah.
But the thing is like, here you actually have facts. You actually have documentation. You had nothing on Trump, not a shred of evidence, okay? And I was of the mind, I was like, okay, well, let's see what you got, right? And every day you saw the Schiff show, what's his name? Adam Schiff coming out each day. I have the evidence right here.
In this folder.
I have the evidence. We have somebody who's seen it. It's top secret, so we can't show it to you. It's like, wait.
Yeah, and that thing was absolutely 100% fact-checkable false.
Yep.
And they proved that there was nothing in that envelope, and he lied under oath to Congress and the Senate.
Yeah.
Right?
So it's, at this point in time, everybody's like, well, more so people on the right. It's like somebody needs to be going to jail.
Yeah.
Somebody needs to be going to jail.
Or at least fired, man. Just never again allowed to hold clearance and be allowed to be on.
It's amazing how much work you can do to drain the swamp, and still how much shit is still left.
Yeah. Well, let's keep playing this video.
Yeah. So, you want to keep listening to that one?
Yeah, she's got some good stuff on there.
Killed in the line of duty. They beat a Capitol police officer to death.
Oh, pause that one.
Sicknick
Pause
died
that
of
one.
Natural causes.
Yep.
Died of natural
Officer Brian
causes.
Sicknick died of natural causes day after Capitol invasion medical examiner rules. This is by CNBC. It's not even by Fox News or C-SPAN or anything.
So
this is by
backstory,
CNBC.
a little bit of backstory, Mike, on what we're talking about here.
So this is the famous January 6th insurrection,
Quote unquote.
quote unquote. And Officer Brian Sicknick, he was one of the officers there.
Capitol Police.
Capitol Police at the Capitol. And apparently what happened was he was hit by a fire extinguisher or something like that was thrown
that's
around.
what they said.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like that's the narrative of the story. And then a few days later, he dies. And it was touted throughout DC and in the country and the news that he died because the January 6th rioters.
They said he was killed.
He was killed
in the Capitol building.
Oh, was he? I thought he died. He died.
They were saying he was killed in the Capitol building in the beginning. They were saying he was killed in the Capitol building, and then it went to he had a heart attack, and then it finally came out. It's like, no, he died a day or two later in his own home, and his family even said it was of natural causes, had nothing to do with these riots. But they still, even to this day, you had the
these are statistics that he died at the Capitol.
Yeah, you had the what's his name, the head of the Pentagon. What's that guy's name?
Milley?
Is it? No, not Milley.
No.
The other guy.
Joint Chiefs,
I'm sorry,
or?
Secretary of Defense. I'm sorry, Secretary of Defense.
Oh, Secretary.
I can't remember his name right now. But anyway, he was even saying it when they had him testifying in Congress, talking about it's like, this guy died in the Capitol building. It's like absolutely false, 100% false. And I think one of the Republicans out there actually called him on it. It was like, no, this is bullcrap. That did not happen. The only person who died was a girl, right?
She was actually an enlisted airman, I think, and her name is Ashley Babbitt.
Yep.
And she was killed outside of the Capitol building by a shot fired from inside by Capitol Police through a window of one of the doors randomly, and it shot and hit her and fatally, and she died.
Yeah. So there's several people there that actually have testified now that said that she was actually trying to stop it. She was asking the police, "You need to stop this. You need to stop this," and then they shot her. Yeah. You've had at least, I think, 2 to 3 people testify to this, but you don't hear any of this. But yet, they keep saying, it's like this, all these people were killed, or this guy was killed. Here you see her spreading this disinformation, right? When it's completely 100% false.
Yep. All right, let's keep going.
Are you trying to think of Secretary Blinken?
No. It's a black dude.
Secretary of Defense guy. I know what you're talking about. He looks like Clarence Thomas.
Yeah, he's a complete tool.
Yeah. Here we go.
The Steele dossier. It may be dirty, but it ain't fake.
Obviously, the Steele dossier is discredited by far, actually.
I mean, this is the lunatic response to what is a very rational, evidence-based, fact-based investigation.
FBI pleads guilty to doctoring email.
What the report shows is something that won't be surprising to people that have spent a lot of time in the federal government.
The report left former officials aghast.
The FBI is exonerated today.
It doesn't vindicate anyone at the FBI who touched this.
They are all absolved of any wrongdoing.
The activities we found here don't vindicate anybody.
The Trump administration cleared peaceful Black Lives Matter protesters so the president could take a photo in front of a church.
We did not find evidence that federal agents used CS gas. The DC police used the CS gas.
There's literally video of them using CS gas.
Yeah.
Video. They'll be like, oh, it's doctored. It's a deep fake. All right, I can't listen to more of this garbage. But it brings across the point, right?
Yeah, I mean, she's not the only one though. You have plenty. You have plenty of these people. You have Morning Joe doing this crap all the time.
Joey Reid.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, and it's amazing how much of the stuff from the government that has pondered this, the Steele dossier, the Hunter Biden laptop, how much of the government has been behind this disinformation, and then they are the ones that we want to trust the Ministry of Truth with.
Well, thankfully, that's kicking the can down the road thanks to Mr. Jack Posobiec.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's a good one. We'll have to talk about that one. Let's do this next video here. It's an abortion advocate left speechless when asked if she would abort a 2-year-old.
So yeah, now this is now like the main talking point nowadays, right? Abortion and what's going to happen with this ruling.
I thought there was going to be a ruling today that they would come out
too. No, nothing came out yet. So.
I haven't seen it.
Yeah, it's right now it's 5:30 and nothing's come out yet.
Yeah.
It should be coming out soon.
They usually do it with it before 5 though, so I'm guessing it's not today. They're coming.
Yeah,
out with
probably
it.
not today.
We're locked in a building somewhere.
Yeah. All right. Well, here we go.
Okay, we're about to watch this video. Yeah. Those of you who have not seen this video, put on a helmet or something because your head's gonna explode,
or you just be banging it against the freaking wall. Yeah. Gosh, here we go. So it says abortion advocate left speechless when asked if she would abort a 2-year-old. All right, and this is is it Congress proceedings?
Yep.
Right.
Or 9 months old, or 1 week old, or an hour old, than one that is 8 inches further up the birth canal in the utero. What's the difference? Why is it okay in the latter case and not the former cases?
I trust people to determine what to do with their own bodies.
Wow.
Full stop.
Full stop.
Wow. Full stop, and ask the abortion advocate, Ms. Armbide, to answer my questions on this subject. Ma'am, you testified that you are, quote, unapologetic in seeking unrestricted abortion access. So I'm wondering, at what point is it not okay to abort a child? What age of gestation?
I trust all people to determine what they can and can't do with their bodies. Full stop.
It's just
I also believe
it's a lawyer
human rights
message.
It's just the memorized message.
To medical care that they need within their communities is something that should be afforded everyone.
Great. Okay, so you support late-term abortion?
I support all people and trust
That means
people.
late-term abortion. Do you support partial birth abortion? In other words, the child is half delivered, and then the woman says, my right, I want to take that one out. You support that?
I trust people to make decisions about their body.
Wow. Okay. What about so abortion should be allowed then, by your definition, for any reason, for any purpose, at any stage, right?
I trust people to make decisions about their body, and then when relevant, I think
you just
they
say
need
yes
to
or no,
consult their medical
please.
No longer
practitioners
safe, legal,
and not
If it is,
Congress.
listen, let me just ask you this question. If it is not lawful and morally acceptable to take the life of a 10-year-old child, I assume you agree with that, right? That would be wrong, correct?
I believe that.
Okay.
Gosh, dang it, bro.
We would all agree that's wrong.
Lock this lady
What is
up.
the principal distinction between
How
the
can you
human
not
being that is
even
2
say
years
no
old,
to that?
or 9 months old, or 1 week old, or an hour old, than one that is 8 inches further up the birth canal in the utero? What's the difference? Why is it okay in the latter case and not the former cases?
Message.
I trust people to determine what to do with their own bodies.
Wow.
Go and stop it.
Wow, he literally even full stop.
Full stop.
Is she a robot?
I mean,
and they only put one cassette tape in her.
When that's all you've defended for the entire life of Roe v. Wade, that's the entire thing that you've been doing to protect abortion. You have to continue the message. You have to. You're stuck on it. That's it. That's all you have.
I mean, this lady's entire business and livelihood depends on it.
Yeah,
this is how she survives.
I think both sides have the same argument. You should have right over your body. Yes.
Your body.
Conservative would agree with that. The baby should have rights over its body. The disconnect is one person thinks it's one congealed person of two people in one. Conservatives think it's two distinct bodies.
Yeah, and most conservatives do not believe that most liberals believe this either. Most conservatives believe that most people are pretty agreeable when it comes to having some semblance of abortion. Okay, so listen to Dave Rubin. You've heard Dave Rubin's change, right? He went from, same thing. It's a woman's choice. She could have an abortion whenever she wants. And now he's down to, I think he's down to the heartbeat. I think he's changed it. He went to like 12 weeks and then he's down to the heartbeat. But his mind has changed over time because as the evidence starts to present itself and then as he starts to look at facts and realize what's actually going on in an abortion, his mind has changed, and that's how mine was. I was the same way. I was all like, yeah, what's the problem with someone wanting to get an abortion? If they want an abortion, go for it. It's up to you, right?
Yep.
And then you start to sit there. I forced myself to watch these videos of them doing abortions, right? Of crushing these heads, pulling these bodies apart. I forced myself to watch this stuff to actually see it. I'm telling you, I'm not gonna lie, it drove me to tears. Okay, it's absolutely sad and gut wrenching. Okay, but to the argument that is always brought up every single time, well, what about the cases of incest and rape, which are less than 1% of all births?
And
or pregnancies.
If anyone's questioning that statistic, like they would lie about it in order to get an abortion, these are committed at Planned Parenthoods where the abortions are paid for. They don't have to lie. If they can say no reason and still get the abortion.
You know what's funny is whenever somebody brings up that argument, which is always the counterpoint, that people bring in against pro-life people, it's and then they get the response like, okay, well, let's say we agree on that on letting that 1% get less than 1% getting the abortions. Can we agree that all the other ones are incorrect then? Right?
Yep.
That they should be banned? And like they just leave them stumped, right? They're like, well, no. Right? Well, it's like, well, no. You're saying that this is.
There was actually a lady that did a video.
That's what I'm talking about.
She's like, so if you agree that we can do it on this, then we'll just do it on this.
It was a lawmaker,
and they were like, I'll take my time back.
Yeah.
But then you get back to so another argument too is used is that this is a woman's choice, right? Well, now we know what a woman is. Okay, because clearly the whole trans thing is gone, right?
Yeah.
There is now a distinguishing line between men and women, right? And if let's just say this abortion thing ever comes back up, Ketanji Brown Jackson, you need to recuse yourself because guess what she said?
He doesn't know what a woman is.
Yep. Right.
Yeah.
So if you can't sit there and say what a woman is or what a man is or whatever, you cannot be on that. You cannot judge on that case. You need to be out. Now, granted, this is going to be out before that, but something's going to come back because it's probably going to be a 5-4 decision, almost guaranteed. Yeah. But okay, so we have that one too, right? And it's like the other one is like, well, this is a woman's thing. Men, you should not have a say in this. Okay, let's take that argument the other way. What if anything concerns a man? Well, guess what, women? You have no right to say any of this. So if I, as a man, decide that I don't want to be a part of this birth anymore, I don't want to be part of this baby's life.
Child support, any of that.
I don't have to pay child support or any case. Doesn't matter what it is.
Yep.
Anything that has to deal with men. Or you get to the minutia of it. Because sometimes you'll get down to, well, if you're not black, you can't talk about this. Or if you're not Hispanic, you can't talk about this. It's like, if we're going to get down that road, if we're going to start disseminating this much, then anything that has to deal with any specific case, nobody else can talk about it unless you have familiarity or you're tied into that in some way, right?
Unless you can present your ancestry DNA chart and say that you have that DNA.
You have to prove your right to
exactly.
opinion.
I mean, the whole counterpoint is just destructive to the whole narrative, right? I mean, again, when you break down the facts, the whole abortion debate, it just falls apart.
Right. It's not constitutional.
It's
not a law, right? All the Supreme Court is saying is that this goes back to the states. Congress can make a law, right? They can make a law And as long as it's, it meets all the standards of the Supreme Court, falls within the Constitution, it can be passed. That's what the Constitution is saying. Even Ruth Bader Ginsburg said this is a terrible decision. She said this, which is why they don't like to quote her anymore, right?
On that particular case.
Yeah.
Oh, and not just that, also like packing the court, a bunch of other stuff that just doesn't fall within the narrative.
Yeah. But I mean, the conservative argument, I being a conservative, you gentlemen being conservatives, anybody watching this that is a conservative, our biggest argument is that we don't want to pay for this. You don't want us in your bedroom. We don't want to be in your bedroom. Mm-hmm. This is your own decision. You make the decision for yourself, right? You go see a doctor. You do this on your own. I want nothing to do with it. I don't want my taxes to do with it. And you know what? It's a state's thing. If the states want to have it, if California is doing this stuff where they're even saying late-term abortions, that's California. That's up to California. Right. But if Texas decides that they want to completely ban abortions, or Oklahoma even, who are you to tell them that they can't do that? But California can go to the extreme on one end, but Texas and Oklahoma can't go to the extreme on the other. Right.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, again, it should have always been a state issue and a personal issue between the person and their doctor.
Yeah. And if you don't know the story of Roe v. Wade, you need to watch it.
We should do a reaction video to that.
Oh, absolutely. It's good. Like, her story is pretty amazing. She did not have the abortion.
Shocker.
Yeah.
I think, Blake, you were going to say something. Sorry, man.
I think one counter argument going back to, let's only allow abortion during times of rape and incest. Well, now you have the false accusations of rape going through the roof because women will just do that so they can get an abortion. So they claim rape even though it didn't happen. That might be a social backlash if we get to that point. I'm of the mind that, up to the first trimester, you can get an abortion for any reason, maybe you determine. I think it's sad that that's the point you have to go to. There's so many preventive measures you can do before you get to that point. And if you're really throwing all that caution to the wind, you should probably just live with the consequence of the child,
what's funny is like all these pro-abortion advocates and stuff, they're like such pro-Ukraine, support and, warmonger kind of support. I think abortion's illegal in Ukraine. And most of these European countries have extremely strict abortion laws. Well, and then people are like, oh, well, we should be more like these countries. It's like, their abortion laws are incredibly. United States has one of the least restrictive abortion laws in the entire
They also
world.
have harsher voter laws too.
Yeah, I mean, the hypocrisy, right?
Well, so there's actually, I saw I was going to bring it in, but there's actually an article on Vox today. And this article talks about butterflies and people who catch butterflies. And so they go, it's like a 10,000 word essay. I kid you not. And I couldn't read through the whole thing. It was just too long. But yeah, at some point. So basically the summation of the story is that there's people out there that collect butterflies, and that, the butterfly population, could be affected by this, and that, we should not go out and collect these butterflies, even for the sake of science. And, instead of catching butterflies and putting them on display, we should just use our binoculars. And I'm like, okay, now do babies.
I'll wait.
No kidding. Have you heard that some people are trying to make this abortion argument that if you deny women abortion, it violates the anti-slavery amendment, 14th Amendment?
Well, the other argument has been made the other way as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That these children, these unborn children, have no rights. You're not giving them the right. Yeah, and like, it's my body. No, that baby is not your body. It has a separate DNA, sometimes separate blood types.
What's I think it was like a statistic. It's like 80% of women who were contemplating abortion, and the first time they actually do an ultrasound, they change their minds. It's like 80 plus percent. Yeah. And that's why Planned Parenthood and all these abortion clinics don't allow like you to get an ultrasound or something like that, because it'll most likely change your mind about it. Yeah. I mean, dude, the hypocrisy. I think I also saw an article and some videos by Knowles from the Daily Wire, and he was showing these Satanists from the Satanic Temple, apparently saying like, hey, it's part of our religious beliefs that if you join the temple, that you can perform abortions, because it's part of our one of our rights, right? And so they're trying to get like people to join the satanic community. He's like, all you have to do is just just swear your soul away, and you can get as many abortions as you want. You should guys watch it. It's freaking.
Well, as crazy as that is,
society's crumbling.
They have every right to do that.
I get it, yeah.
Well, let's go to something a little bit happier. Let's go to the happiness index. We have an article here from Hot Air. It's called the happiness index. Probably isn't what you think it is. What do you gentlemen like to read? Or I'll read. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, go for it.
All right. Most of us are familiar with the old saying, which instructs us that money can't buy you happiness. For the more cynical among us, that usually is followed by the phrase, but it makes life a lot easier while you're feeling miserable. I've also heard that I'd rather cry in a Maserati than in a Volvo.
I've heard money can't buy happiness, but it can buy jet skis. You've never seen an unhappy person on a jet ski.
Yeah, it makes life a lot easier. Yeah, exactly. A short version might be money can't buy happiness, but it sure doesn't hurt. Is this something that we can really measure, though? That may sound like a crazy idea, but there have been people working on what's known as the happiness index in recent years and combining a deep analysis of the wealth of various Americans into the mix. One of the first questions to answer is precisely who we're talking about when we reference the rich. At the New York Times, author Seth Stevens, David Witz takes a deep dive into these questions. In terms of who is truly rich, the author ignores the big tech giant names and immediately leap to the mind of most of us. He focuses on those who manage to pull down more than $1.5 million per year, and those people probably don't fit the profile you are imagining. They're mostly people you've never heard of who are the owners of boring but highly profitable regional businesses. These aren't the flashy businesses that make headlines, but rather the staple dealers in goods and services, and almost everyone needs. The study didn't tell us about the small number of well-known tech and shopping billionaires, but instead about the more than 140,000 Americans who earn more than $1.85 million. We talked about that. What are the lessons from the data of the rich earners? First, rich people own, among members of the top 0.1%. The research found about three times as many make the majority of their income from owning a business as from being paid a wage. Salaries don't make people rich nearly as often as equity does. Okay, that makes sense so far. The owner of the profitable business that sticks around for generations is going to do much better than the hourly worker who keeps it going. One interesting factoid is that 1 in 5 auto dealerships, 20%, have an owner who is bringing in more than $1.58 million per year. But does money actually produce happiness? All right, that's where the supposed happiness index comes in. If the study being examined here is to be believed, being below the poverty line isn't making many people happy. But beyond a fairly modest income level, happiness doesn't really seem to increase nearly as quickly. The maximized level is an income of $75,000 per year. Beyond that, the rate of the increase in happiness slows considerable.
It's a very interesting study on this one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've seen a study before where it says after a certain amount of income, like the index just doesn't rise anymore.
What's the average income in the United States? Like $55,000 a year?
Like around that, yeah.
Okay.
50, 55, yeah. 56 or something like that.
Yep.
But I think it's like once you hit like, what was it like?
$75,000.
70. Was it 5 or I thought it was like 80. Maybe a little higher than that actually. Maybe
were the happiness levels kind of caps.
Yeah, just plateau. They just start plateauing. Yeah. No matter how much more you make.
Well, coming out of college or even in college, I remember all these people that these ideas is like, oh, I'm getting underwater ballet, reverse psychology degrees, and it's like I'm going to make $100,000 a year when I get out, and it's like, no, that's not true. Okay, you're probably going to make about $30,000 a year when you get out. You need to be realistic about this. And
as most people. Yeah.
My first paycheck when I graduated college, it was $187.77. I still remember to this day. Yes, I was stocking groceries. Okay, my first actual job in my degree field, I was making $45,000 a year, and this is with 5 years military experience in logistics. This is a 4-year degree. I was making $45,000 a year, but I was happy.
Yeah.
Okay. And then when I actually did reach the six-figure mark, which did happen, you work your ass off.
Yeah.
People don't understand this. I think the money's just going to come and everything's going to be easy. You're going to work your butt off, man. The vast majority of people who make 6 figures work their butt off. Unless you happen to be some Twitch streamer with some big milkers.
OnlyFans.
Yeah. So anyway, let's keep going on here. So if it's not money, what is the real secret to happiness? According to this study, it's being married. Let me read that again. So if it's not money, what is the real secret to happiness? According to this study, it's being married. Being with a marital partner provides more than double the happiness boost seen from a net worth of $8 million.
Oh, man.
What's the original study?
I'm gonna call my wife and be like, hey, babe, you're worth $8 million.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So a certain amount of money is definitely a key to happiness. The problem is the current national climate is that it's harder to hang onto your money and build up that wealth when everything keeps getting more expensive. So what can you do about that? At the Washington Post, Michelle Singularity thinks that she has the solution. You should go back to live with your parents. No, I'm not kidding. Singularity actually makes several valid points about the high cost of rent and or mortgage payments these days, and shouldering costs such as those can seriously impact your ability to save money and plan for your retirement. But housing has always been a significant part of anyone's budget, with few exceptions. Also, not every parent is going to be wild about seeing their offspring arrive back at home with their suitcase, particularly if they just finished coveting your old bedroom into an office or a personal gym. If you have parents who are both willing and able to take you back, feel free. I'm sure you'll save a lot of money. But going out and making your own way in the world is all part of what is now called adulting. And you're going to have to do it sooner or later.
Scary.
So either be married or live in your parents' basement.
I will get married.
So wait, being married provides nearly an $8 million increase, but the divorce rate is 50%?
No. Being married gives someone the same level of happiness as someone who makes $8 million.
$8 million. Okay. And yet
relatively,
divorce rate is at 50%. Yeah. By the way, that 50% divorce rate statistic is horrible.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's been disproven many times. Michael Medved has talked about that all the time. He's like, yes, the divorce rate is high, but also the remarriage rate is high. I can tell you that because I have been one of divorce, and I plan on getting married again.
Yeah. One of the reasons why.
Congratulations. Felicidades.
Thank you.
Resilient, this one. Yeah. Very resilient. One of the reasons why that 50% statistic is horrible is because when they did that study, they counted all the marriages that happened in that year and all the divorce rates that happened in that year. Can anyone figure out why that would be a bad way to do it? Probably because the marriages were all new and the divorce rates could be 5, 10, 20, 30 years into their marriage. Yep. So you're accumulating decades worth of sample size for divorce rates, but only a year's worth of sample size for marriage. Yeah. So obviously the divorce rate is going to be significantly higher.
Yeah, they should be saying it's like what percentage of people stay married past 5 years, past 10 years, past 15 years, past 30 years. That's probably a more likely scenario to look at, and then but for the perspective of being married, having been married and also having been divorced, it doesn't matter. I still enjoy being married. I like to come home to somebody. I like being able to share times with somebody. It's like dating sucks. Don't get me wrong. It's like I'm dating right now. It's not. Don't think of it from that aspect. I know I'm digging myself a hole here, but it's a pain in the butt in the sense that look at all the stuff you have to go through, all the questions you have to ask somebody, all the
interviewing.
Yeah, because it's like if you go for the first person you meet, good luck.
Yeah, it's like going to work, right? You got to interview.
It's a full-time job. Yeah.
Yeah, it's exhausting, and I mean that's why the institution is so great, because you just have somebody that you go through with thick and thin, whatever it is, you tackle it together and all that stuff.
Yeah. So I've had plenty of people tell me that I was too picky when it came to picking somebody to get married to, right? But you should be picky, right? You should be extremely picky.
I think you should be picky to the level that you are sufficient to that pickiness. For example, if you have a lot of standards that you're writing out for your person, if you want to marry Wonder Woman crossed with Mary Poppins, are you Superman? Don't have standards for something higher than you actually are. So you can be picky, but realize that this person that you have pictured in your head, they have their own list. Are you the kind of person to live up to that? Yep. You can either lower the standards to where you are and be realistic, or raise yourself to that. Probably the healthiest is to do a little bit of both. Not saying you haven't done that, but for people who are doing that, be picky to the level that you live up to.
Yeah, but don't. Yeah, you're right. I agree with you. but it's also, it's like, I'm not going to sit there and say, for instance, if somebody, let's just say for somebody who believes in God, right? This person matches all of my stuff. Should I, everything that I want, education, family, psychological, all that stuff, they match everything, but they don't believe in God. They're an atheist, but I believe in God. Should I sacrifice and all of that just for all those things because this person doesn't believe in God? There are some things you cannot, wane on. For me, that's a no-no. I don't care how many of the boxes you check. If you don't believe in God, sorry.
It's a no. Yeah, but I mean, again, I think what Blake is going to is coming back to his compromise, right? I mean, that's what marriage is, compromise all the time.
Exactly.
Yeah, and so, I mean, the institution is great. There's been so many studies been done about marriage and, the happiness, index that we've talked about. And I mean, personally, from being married, I mean, there's never been a happier time in my life than when I've been married and, starting a family and all that kind of stuff. So it's funny that you say, divorcees always get remarried. I mean, there's a reason for that, right? I mean, being with somebody, it's not good for a man to be alone. And I mean, obviously that includes women. But yeah, I mean, I think the culture though now is destroying, and also, I mean, there's
hookup culture.
There's nefarious, entities that are trying to destroy the family, the nuclear family, right? But it's hilarious. Like we're talking about the abortion thing, and they're like, well, that's it. We got to do a sex strike. No more hookups for and all the conservatives are like,
that's what we've been saying.
Right?
You shouldn't be.
But yeah, anyways, so
yeah, and I'm saying that because I've been part of that culture. It was wrong.
Yeah.
Right? It's not good for you. And also, if you guys don't know who Dennis Prager is, you should go follow him, go look him up, listen to him. Dennis Prager talks about this. He says, men, you should get married when you're younger, right? Don't wait till you're older, push it off till you're 40 before you get married. You should get married early. When you find the right one, get married. Don't wait. And the reason for that is because it matures you. It forces you, because now you can no longer be
frivolous.
Well, no, selfish.
Oh, selfish.
Right? Because now you have somebody else you have to worry about.
Yeah.
And then if you have a kid, now you have another person you have to worry about. It forces maturity upon you.
Yeah.
In most cases.
Yeah. Being outside your comfort zone forces you to growth. You can pretend obstacles are not there, or you can go running after obstacles. And running after obstacles can improve yourself and build resiliency. I would also say that if you're looking for the perfect person, if you're looking for love at first sight, stop. It doesn't exist. No one is perfect for you. But when you get married and when you two have similar values and you set those values as something that both of you strive towards, you two become perfect for each other together. It doesn't happen before. It happens during the process. Marriage is hard. I love my wife.
Beautiful.
Shut up. Go cut some onions. That's the only reason you should be crying.
All right, Blake, thank you for coming. We'll see you next time.
I love my wife, but I have to admit, the first 2 years were incredibly difficult. We got married closer to our 30s. We were both very well established in our own habits and our own methods, and we got extremely angry at each other for our inability to perceive the other person's ability to solve problems, do things around the house, our tendencies to solve emotional and mental problems. She had her ways, I had my ways. When we saw the other person trying to do it, we were critical of each other. And we went to therapy, we went to counseling, we worked through it. And I can say now, after 5 years, 6 years of marriage, it's perfect. I wouldn't have changed it for anything. And I thought about divorce numerous times during our first 2 years. And I'm so happy she and I committed enough to work through those obstacles, because we did become perfect together.
Yeah. And for someone, again, in my case, who's been through 2 divorces, I will say this. You are correct. There's nothing perfect. Sometimes divorce is the only answer, unfortunately. However, right? Don't give up. Okay. There's many things that can happen, many things that can go wrong, many things that might not even be your fault, and that's okay. Don't worry. The biggest thing is don't stay in that position. Keep going. Do it again, right? But this time you've gone through it. Like myself, I've gone through it again. I'm going to do it again. I'm dating someone right now. I think she's an amazing person. We've gone through those lists. We check all those boxes, and so far right now we're meeting everything. Meeting all those things that we have. But don't give up. Don't stop. Don't quit. Just because something bad may happen.
Yeah. Well said. Cool. Well, on that note, why don't we actually get into some world news, as is our...
Speaking of electricity.
Yeah, speaking of finding the spark, electricity.
What a segue!
Yeah, we're the U.S. is looking at a power shortage heading into the hot summer, man.
Why could that be?
I don't know, man. I mean, I look at California. I thought they were making all the solar for the power of the country.
Texas dipped their toe into that one.
I mean, shit, dude. I don't know.
Could it be all the coal power plants that we're building?
No, I thought.
No, they make electricity.
No. It's oil. Papa Joe just got a bunch of oil from the strategic oil reserves to help power the stuff.
Oh, we're already out of that.
So
we blasted through that.
No, it's all the nuclear power plants that we have. They're just draining the grid. They're just sucking all the energy out of there. And
oh gosh,
3 Mile Island.
3 Mile just came out on Netflix.
Jeez.
Oh god.
Fukushima.
Yeah, wait. I don't think we have that many nuclear power plants.
Well, we have less and less every year.
Oh wow. So what could be causing this, guys?
Blake, you want to start reading on this one?
So it's from FEE Stories. U.S. faces electricity shortages heading into summer as grid operators warn of limits of green energy. All right, take it away.
With more than 25 years of executive experience in the utility industry, people listen to when MISO CEO John Baer talks about energy. I'm concerned about it, he tells the Wall Street Journal, an article exploring why power grid operations are worried about electricity supplies may struggle to keep up with rising energy demands. He's not the lone prophet foretelling doom. From California, Texas to the Midwest, the journal spoke of grid operators warning that the conditions are ripe for outages as plants pivot to new renewable energy sources. So skipping down to quitting fossil fuels, politicians and policy wonks often speak of quitting fossil fuels as if they are a filthy habit or a narcotic like crack. But the reality is humans could not survive without coal, natural gas, and oil. We think about gasoline and your car. Your car weighs thousands of pounds of steel, and it can go 60 miles per hour, go up a hill. That is tremendously efficient energy, and that powers our country. You have to find something to replace that amount of energy, and we don't have cars that run on solar.
Yeah, I don't think people really understand that solar panels, I think they only capture about 14 to 15% of the energy from the sun.
Yes,
they can only that's how far solar panels have gone with such a huge emphasis and push towards developing new panels that can capture more. I think it's around 14% of solar energy is captured.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
When you think of biology, you look around the world at us, the world around us, and all the animals. Theoretically, everything's powered by the sun. Sun comes into a plant makes the sugar. Sugar's eaten by animals. Carnivores eat the herbivores. Everything is powered by solar energy down to the basic. But plants are, 5 times, 6 times more efficient than any of our solar cells could be at making light into energy. We just aren't there yet. Maybe in the future we can have more efficient solar cells. But there's a reason plants are stationary, don't move, because it takes all of their energy to convert sunlight into sugar.
And I think I'm probably speaking for all of us when I'm saying that we are not opposed to renewable energy whatsoever. No. Not at all. Yeah. But what we are opposed to is the complete lunacy that we're heading towards right now with shutting off, our dependency on fossil fuels like a switch and then just trying to see what happens,
or subsidizing those things, right? So that's the only reason why solar and wind are doing what they're doing, and they're able to get into what they're getting into, is because they're heavily subsidized by the U.S. government, which I disagree with. If people want it, then people want it, and then you should go ahead and build it as people want it in certain areas, right? If someone wants to put a solar panel on their roof, go for it. Yep. That's fine with me. I even know HOAs that won't let you put solar panels on your roof. To me, that's crazy, right?
Yeah, no
like if
kidding.
somebody wants to pay for it, if you want to pay the $50,000 or whatever crazy amount of money it is for
or
a solar
do it
panel,
yourself,
which you're never going to regain that money from. I'm telling you, you're not going to get it back. But you should be allowed to do that. Okay. Or let's just say somebody has a lake and maybe they have a little dam and they want to put a little generator or something in there. Yeah, go for it. Great, you should. But to sit there and sacrifice the energy that you already have to shoot yourself in the leg, right? When you already have power, through coal-fired power plants, through nuclear, the argument now is that it's like, well, we need to shut all these fossil fuel stuff down and we need to go straight to electric. Where do you think that electric is coming from?
Yeah.
The vast majority of it is coming from coal-fired power plants, right? And if you are shutting these coal-fired power plants down, you're not going to have the energy that you want, right? Just because you're driving a Tesla, which I like, I think they're great.
Doesn't mean it's being powered by
that
solar.
That Tesla is coal-powered. In some cases, nuclear-powered.
It's true. It's like anyone who's saying switch from fossil fuel to electricity is an idiot.
Within like a snap of a finger, right?
Well, you have to think electricity doesn't come from the air. You have to generate electricity. Yep. You can switch from coal and gas to hydro, to wind, to solar, to nuclear. But even these have costs, as we'll discuss. Second paragraph from Green Energy have costs too. The shift from filthy coal to clean energy has not always been smooth. Last year, for example, Hawaiian officials were stunned to learn that coal plant that they have killed have been replaced with a massive battery powered by oil, which one public official described as going from cigarettes to crack. Switching from, because you have to get that energy from somewhere. Electricity comes either from gas, coal, hydro, or other things. Green energies have costs too. It is true that fossil fuels come with trade-offs. They can be messy, they can emit greenhouse gases, but the idea that green energies do not come with similar environmental trade-offs is simply not true. That electric car your neighbor just bought probably isn't as green as he thinks. It takes tens of thousands of pounds of CO2 emissions to produce those fancy Tesla batteries, research shows. Jason Heckel, an economic anthropologist, argues that renewable energy has the potential to be just as destructive to the environment as fossil fuels. While the phrase clean energy might conjure up images of beaming sunshine, rainbows, and gales of wind, the reality is far from different. One, I have to give credit to this person on, I believe it was TikTok, who was a renewable scientist, talking about lithium batteries. She's very climate change concerned, this individual. She talked about, let's not trade one problem for another. Lithium batteries are very hard to produce. Lithium is very rare, very hard. If electric cars became the standard, where does the lithium come from? The mines could run out, then you could pull it from the ocean, which is extremely expensive and hard, and you put more industrial sites onto the oceans, which you may not want to do. My preference, maybe we should do a little bit of everything. Maybe we should have gas.
Don't we have
coal?
Well, don't we have to mine other minerals for these batteries, Mike?
Yes, you do. As a matter of fact, you have most of this lithium that, as Blake was saying, is actually mined by slave labor. So kudos to you guys for trying to get that. I think,
now, where's the slave labor coming from? Who has the slaves?
This is mostly done in South Africa, and it is also done in China. They're actually
South America.
Yeah, South America. China's actually the leading owner of these precious minerals throughout the world. Yeah. Part of their the road initiative that they're doing.
Yeah, if you focus all your efforts on the one thing, that is going to be a problem.
Yeah, I mean, well, the thing is, right now, fossil fuels, coal, nuclear, all of that is primary, and it is supported by renewable energy such as wind and solar. And I think there was an episode on on Joe Rogan where this guy came on and he's like, Texas, because they had a pretty bad freeze and they froze all their gas lines and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
and he was like, Texas pulls 20% of their energy from wind, wind and solar, right? 20%.
That's high.
Which is if the
entire Texas.
Yeah, I mean, still, if the entire country's power is 20% subsidized by wind and solar, cool, go for it. But guess what? We still have that 80% that's not.
Oh, what happens when the wind dies down, right?
Yeah,
it does.
It fluctuates, and that's what he said too. These energy, it fluctuates. What about like solar panels in the upper northwest of the United States. Yeah. It's not going to happen. It rains there like 300 days out of the year.
Well, and these I think it's nuclear and also coal, where they've talked to these guys that run these facilities, and they said that when the wind or the solar dies down, you get a cloud, or it just stops blowing wind. Yeah. You have to switch over. Mm-hmm. That switching cost is extraordinarily high. Not only that, it's like you can't just bump the nuclear up immediately. You can't just bump the coal up immediately. It takes time, and sometimes they get overloaded. Mm-hmm. Right?
Yeah, because it's the need becomes immediate.
Yeah.
Right. The window just doesn't like slightly like die down, and so does like the sun just like fades into the sunset.
What are they doing in Germany? they're turning all their nuclear power plants back on.
But I mean that's the case though, right?
I thought they were trying to go mostly nuclear.
Well, you actually had like France that was like almost 100% nuclear.
No, Germany. Germany was.
Yeah. But I think France was too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and they started shutting it down because of this whole new what is it called, the World Economic Forum bull crap, and that is real. And
but then they became dependent on Russian oil.
Yeah,
which is hilarious. Right?
They found out renewable energy. Guess what? It's not very reliable. Yeah. It's extremely unreliable, in fact. Right. It's not. The sun isn't always shining. You just said it yourself. It's like they get like 15% of reliability from solar panels. Right. Not only that, you got to clean them all the time. Yeah. But you need reliable. You need cheap. You need efficient. That always comes from nuclear, fossil fuels.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't see that changing anytime soon. Yeah. I mean, we can keep building renewables, but again, they are not, as you said, reliable.
Yeah, and as more people are also buying these electric cars, you're starting to tap the grid.
Yeah.
Right? Because if you're pulling back on fossil fuels and you're starting to go to renewables, and these renewables aren't as renewable, you're tapping the grid out. Not to mention our grid is extremely old. I think it's like when there was a guy on Vigilance Elite. He has been working in the power grid industry for like 35 years, yeah. And he's like he still goes to telephone poles that are over 100 years old.
Yeah, the system is run by a program called Cobalt. For anybody who don't know that, I don't blame you, because Cobalt is one of the oldest programming languages in existence. There's like 3 or something dudes that know how to program in Cobalt for the grid. And guess what? Those guys are like 80, 90 years old. Mm-hmm. And once those guys die, I mean, there's going to be a serious issue there.
This is pre PCs in your house.
Yeah, this
coding
is
language.
This is when the computer that took the astronauts to the moon was like the size of an entire floor in like the Empire State Building or something like that.
Yeah. Did you know back in the day when they had to program something, they wrote it on these cards? Yeah. They had these stack of cards with divots in it that had the binaries for it, and they would go from their office to the computer, and they would like drop it.
Yes.
And hopefully it was numbered correctly that they could put it back in the right order, or they would have to redo their entire code.
A good scene for that is when they bring the IBM machine into NASA for it's that movie with those 3 women who are black women. Who helped take the Neil Armstrong into space.
Yeah, it was a good movie.
And so they actually show that when the IBM machine, they had to put the stack of cards, and then the engineers couldn't do it until the ladies came in and they fixed it up. Mm-hmm. But it's hilarious because that entire machine, we have thumb drives that are more powerful than that.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean.
I mean, your cell phone is more powerful than the space shuttle. It's like that's that old thing. But why? What should people know? Why energy is going to get tapped out? Why are we facing this crisis coming up, especially in the summertime? Like, what happens in the summertime?
Turn on air conditioning.
Oh,
people go out more.
Damn, really?
It's crazy.
Guess people are just gonna be walking around naked.
Yeah. And again, you have Pete Buttigieg out there telling you, if you can't afford gas, just go buy an electric car. You know
what's hilarious is that he is nowhere to be seen lately, and neither is.
No, that's good. He should.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not.
Good things happen when he's not there.
But I mean, they're already expecting power shortages throughout the country this year. I mean, it also goes back to gas, right? Gas prices are just starting to soar right now here in the Washington, D.C. metro area. Like gas is like the average is probably like $4.80, $4.90 now.
Wouldn't it be weird? Wouldn't that suck if backup generators ran on like diesel or something like that? Wouldn't that be insane?
Like something like gassy, like propane?
Yeah, it's weird. I hope not.
West Virginia's like, we're solid.
Yeah. Talking about nuclear energy, it's the most reliable energy source. Not even close. If you energy.gov has an article on it. Nuclear energy has roughly supplied a fifth of America's power each year since 1990, and it beats out geothermal, beats out coal for consistency. Hydropower, solar. If we invested more into it, it would be amazing. But I mean, it's risky. I get that, but there are many ways to make it safe, and so it fails to an off position with the cooling rods. I could go into that.
Take it, Brian. Take it. I know.
Well, everybody always thinks of like nuclear waste. It's like this sludge, right? It's not. It's solid waste. Okay. I think they estimated that if you in your entire life used 100% nuclear power for everything, it would come out to the size of a Coke can. The nuclear waste. But you have sailors in a tiny little submarine powered by nuclear. It's weird.
And nothing happens.
It's extremely safe.
And not just that. I mean, a lot of people are like, oh, nuclear is not safe, obviously because Fukushima, which was because of a natural disaster.
And they were told
about it. Second, obviously Chernobyl, biggest nuclear disaster in the history of the world.
Still misconceptions that not that many people died as they say it was.
Correct. And then you also have
3 Mile Island, which they just turned off when I think they just shut down the main.
It was still working. So
up until a year ago.
Again, also the technological advancements in nuclear power plant energy has obviously grown because it's also a matter of national security for all nations, right?
Well, now they're looking at microreactors, right?
Yeah, or salt thorium reactors.
Oh yeah.
Which do not melt down.
No.
Which would completely
they were actually trying to build one out in Texas. It would have been the largest one. Well, I think it would have been the only one anyway, but they ended up shutting it down. But the thing is too, and this is where I get upset too, is right, there's a big beef between oil and nuclear. They don't like each other at all, and they always try to undermine each other, and it is what it is, you know. But in my money, if you want green, you go nuclear. 100%.
And in a smaller footprint, absolutely nuclear. Everything's self-contained into that area wherever that nuclear reactor is.
They're extremely regulated too.
Yep.
Extremely. If you want to talk about danger, you can quote Chernobyl and Fukushima, which had very low death rates, and compare that to oil fires, oil rig fires, death in refineries. Like, you don't think gas and oil is dangerous?
Yeah, you can actually, there's the pools that hold the rods. You can swim in that water. Granted, you're going to die, not because of the water, because they're going to shoot you before you get in that water. But you can get in that water. Why the thing's operating and swim, and you're not going to get any radiation, right? You actually get just as much radiation sleeping next to your spouse as you do if you're right next to a nuclear reactor. Has anybody ever got an X-ray before?
Oh yeah.
You get X-rayed every day by the sun.
Yep. Microwaves. Your phone emits radiation.
Yeah. I think, going back to it, invest in everything and let the free market decide which one is the best. Solar will get caught up if people continue to research it. Nuclear get caught up. Just try to make it a fair market for each person to compete in, and the winner will come up. People didn't like Tesla cars till Elon Musk made it awesome.
Nikola Tesla. Damn, that dude lives.
Yeah.
Well, man, invent me a solar panel that can capture 100% of the solar, or even like 80 to 90%. We won't even have this conversation. Well, I will propagate that to Kingdom Come. We'll pepper Arizona with solar panels and power the country.
Still remember, they don't give you power at night.
They don't give you power at night.
Or when it's cloudy.
Yeah. And then we supplement it.
Well, you had
with hydro and nuclear.
Well, you had AOC talking about, why can't we just build a big gigantic a solar panel out in the middle of the desert somewhere, not knowing that you lose energy as it travels. It's like, the farther you have to go, you lose energy.
Yeah, resistance is a thing till I get superconductors.
Yeah. Did you? Same topic but kind of different. So the gentleman, the hero, the police officer that was killed in that store by that
yes, I know what you're
that freak of nature that terrible human being. This gentleman, Mike, what did he do?
He actually had a YouTube channel dedicated to inventing a water-powered car.
Amazing.
Conspiracy. And actually, I think he was making a lot of progress towards it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he was he's not the only one that's worked towards it. I mean, there's hydrogen powered vehicles and everything too. But
one problem with hydrogen powered vehicles is
they explode.
Yeah, car crashes become very exciting.
Highly flammable.
Yes,
but I've heard that there's ways of containing that.
Oh yeah.
And they said that there's something better than hydrogen. I forget what it was. I was watching some YouTube channels on this, and they're talking about
if you think about it, the space shuttles, the way they're fueled, it's not hydrogen. It's a
solid
methane, liquid methane. Okay. I think that's
they also have,
with like a mix of something. But I think
they also have a thermite-like substance as the solid fuel source.
I'm pretty sure it's methane, liquid methane that they do.
But it's like this gentleman trying to figure something out and make something. He actually made the engine work. He made it work. There's another gentleman up in Canada that I know that did this as well. He had a functioning car. It was water powered. But regardless of that, right? What we're looking at right now, we are the world's largest superpower, and we're becoming a third world power because of energy.
Yep.
Energy is everything. It's everything. If you don't have energy, you die. Yeah. And that's what we're facing right now.
A population grows proportion to the energy it has access to. Mm-hmm. As you find a new energy source, your population will grow.
Exactly. Well, yeah. So there's a great book out there. I recommend everybody go read it. And it's called The Moral Case for Fossil Fuels by Alex Epstein. You should absolutely read the book. It's an amazing book. If you don't like to read, get the audio. The audio is great. It's read by him as well. And he talks about exactly that. He talks about how many lives have been saved since the use of fossil fuels, right? How many more babies are being born instead of dying, in the past. I think it was like half of mothers who went into birth died, right? But because of the advent of medicine, of air conditioning, of having lights and power, right? That helps save these lives. And in fact, they tried this out in parts of Africa where they were like, they bought this entire town, like solar power and stuff like that. And they were like, take it all back. We don't want it, because they would run out of power at night, right? And they're like, no, we want our fuel back. We want diesel or whatever.
It's not a standard of living.
Yeah, because if you have diesel or if you have coal, you have power all the time, whenever you need it, right? So, but yeah, fossil fuels have absolutely saved lives. And in fact, if you start taking away fossil fuels, you're going to see death on a widespread number that you can't even fathom.
Yeah, it's the same logic. Your energy source is going down, and again, population grows in proportion to energy. If your energy goes down, your population goes down.
Well, what happens in New York when the power goes out? Right?
Oh, it's Mad Max, man.
People are dying, right? Yeah. You get the old people that start dying off. You get people dying from heat stroke, which is weird because in Arizona they live for a long time out there. But
the city, man, city slickers, they can't do it. But
quiz, I'm sorry.
Yeah, go for it.
I know you guys probably know this. Do more people die from heat or from cold?
Heat
around the world right now. Do more people die from heat or cold?
I would say heat.
No,
heat.
More people die from cold.
Really?
Yep.
Interesting.
So they talk about global warming, and they're like, global warming is going to kill everybody. Absolutely false. I think the number is like the amount of people who've died worldwide because of heat-related issues is like, I think it's under 1,000. The amount of people who died because of cold-related issues is almost 100,000.
Wow.
Massive difference. Cold is the killer, not heat. Anyway.
Cool. But also another facet of it, it's like, guess what? Like if you get rid of fossil fuels, and you have no plastic, you have no rubber, you have no medicine, because most of the medicine nowadays is petroleum-based medicine.
No drogas.
Pura cocaine. Cocaine and mota. That's it.
Food, fertilizers.
I mean, everything is a lot of the stuff that people use, and I mean, people don't know it, but like most electronic, it takes fossil fuels to do this. Heavy machinery. You know how much diesel it takes to run heavy machinery to mine the stuff that makes
diesel runs the world, man.
It does, man.
All those Tesla cars that get delivered to you, you know what they're on the back of? Big old diesel truck.
Yep.
Sorry, go ahead.
And to make your solar panels and make your wind turbines,
you
need gas.
Again, it's the hypocrisy of it.
And gas you have to mine for and drill for, and it's hard. Nuclear energy That comes from radioactive material. That stuff is radioactive whether we use it or not. Yeah, there is enrichment. Yeah, there's stuff we can do to make radioactive material, but that stuff is, you mine radioactive material, that's in the ground doing its stuff, letting out its gamma.
Just being radioactive.
Alpha, beta particles, whether you use it or not, might as well get the energy is siphoning off of it's radiating from its body.
Cool, guys. Good episode, I think. Good topics.
Another one in the can.
Yeah. If you guys, what? Go for it.
I was gonna take one from the late great Rush Limbaugh.
Oh,
doing this with half our brain tied behind our back,
just to make it fair. Yeah, be like radiation. Just be yourself.
I was gonna take one from Ron Swanson. Either do something full ass or something. What was it?
Half-ass.
Half-ass.
Never half-ass.
Never half-ass something. Always full-ass something. Words to live by. But anyways, thanks a lot, everybody, for watching the podcast today. You can find us, obviously, here on YouTube, Rumble as well, and all our social media. We have some interesting projects coming out soon, so we'll keep you guys informed of that. But share the show, subscribe. Give us a thumbs up. Give us a comment as well. We'd love to hear topics that you guys want us to talk about as well.
Hit the bell, because
if you listen,
be notified.
And if you listen to the very end, give us the finger, because we'll know you paid attention to the end.
Exactly. Anything you want to say, friend?
Nope, I'm good. Thanks.
Thank you for listening, savages. Stay saintly.